to the Great American Baseball Park trip, version 2.5, which will take place this summer at the end of July with the LeBeau boys, great baseball fans and great Americans who love this country. And this is a great country, don't you think? Well, we're going to get to see part of it. This is the second time that all three of us are able to do this. And we're going to start off, of course, here in the great state of Connecticut. I'm not sure what car we have, but it's going to sound good. It's going to sound just like that. And a little overview here. We're going from Connecticut to Minneapolis to Kansas City to St. Louis to Cleveland and back home in the space of 5 total days. Now, we're going to start off. Hopefully the car's running. And we're going to go 99% across New York. And then we have our first decision to make. We'll probably head up into Ontario. That would be the province of Ontario. Cut across to Michigan. Now, here's the question: is whether we go to Detroit or whether we go a little further north to Port Huron. Detroit, named after the trout, or Port Huron, named after the Indians of the same name, made famous in the last of the Mohegans, because they fought against the Mohegans. Anyway, the question is whether we're going to go up to Sault Ste. Marie or the Sault Ste. Marie area, or up near Saint Ignace, or to Sault Ste. Marie, because this is one of the great, beautiful places in the United States of America. Now, to do that, that's going to take us about 8 hours to get to Buffalo. And then the question is, from Buffalo to Sault Ste. Marie is about 8 hours and 33 minutes. Buffalo to St. Ignace is 7:23. And then if we don't go to Sault Ste. Marie, but we cut across this beautiful area known as the Upper Peninsula of Michigan, in this manner right here, we will come out and we'll be on some beautiful roads that are all labeled by AAA as being beautiful roads across America. The other option, go back to the Detroit area, is to come across Michigan, perhaps camp, depending on what time of day, or maybe just rest, or just go see the Great Sand Dunes some of the great sand dunes on the eastern coast of Lake Michigan, which the boys have been to. Then we could go to the great town of Gary, Indiana, which is actually a real pit, and then head up in that direction. This is my preferred route, if we have the time. It'll take a total of about 22 hours. Cut across Wisconsin, and end up at Target Field, otherwise known as Target Field, in Minneapolis, where we're going to see the Twins play the Yankees. And of course, we all know who we're rooting for in that game. And then, look at how far we are across the country. That's in one day. We're going to put on some miles. Then we're going to head down, amazingly short drive, from Minneapolis to Kansas City, as you can see, 6 hours and 21 minutes. And we're going to head to Kauffman Stadium, where we're going to see the Kansas City Royals play the Houston Astros. Now that's going to take care for the boys. It's 2 parks that they haven't been to. I've been to the Target Field last year. Then the shortest piece of the journey on Sunday, or after the Saturday game, we have a 3-hour drive, 3-hour-and-a-half drive from Kansas City to St. Louis, which of course was the jumping off point for all the Western travels, the Oregon Trail heads out. The Missouri River comes in, which is why the Oregon Trail is there. The St. Louis Arch. And of course, the famous home of Busch Beer, Busch Stadium, where we'll see St. Louis, which is always a perennial power, playing the Braves, which were formerly, going back to late 1940s or 1950s, the Boston Braves. So we'll probably root for the Braves when we're there. We'll see. We all like St. Louis, though, too. They're a great team and had great history of baseball. And then another good jaunt to achieve by Monday, something like this, across to Columbus on Route 70, I believe, maybe something in between here, then popping up to Cleveland. And if we're early, we may go to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. And this is the final leg of our journey, where we end up in Progressive Field, where we'll see the Cleveland Indians play the Royals again. So we're going to see the Royals, the Kansas City Royals, play twice on this trip. And then we'll head home, which that will be another 8 hours and 22 minutes approximately of travel time back. But let's hope the car is still working well. Back to Hartford, and Matthew can go to work, and Christopher can go to work too, and I'll rest for about a week because I will be exhausted. I suspect there may be a few brews that are consumed during this journey. And we're going to get a lot of baseball, and we're going to probably pick up some really neat souvenirs. I've yet to get a foul ball in my life. I've created a lot of foul balls, but I haven't really had any foul balls hit to me in my life. So, that's the trip. It's going to really knock off a lot of the parks that we haven't been to in the central part of the country. Kind of leaves the only parks that are still, that everybody hasn't been to, are Wrigley Field. Now, Christopher and I went there. I believe Matthew never went to Comiskey. I'm not sure what the new Comiskey is, where the White Sox play. And then we've got a few parks on the East Coast that I haven't been to, that they'll uncover these over here, that Matthew's been to. Like, Matthew's been to Washington. I haven't been to Washington. We've been to Baltimore 3 or 4 times. I've been to Philadelphia. I'm not sure who is everybody. I think we've all been. And ironically, a place I haven't been is the New York Yankees or the New York Mets. I went to see the Yankees play in the 2 old Yankee stadiums, but have not been to the new Yankee Stadium. And I think both my boys have, and have never been to Citi Field and seen them play. And then at some point in the future, there's going to be an East Coast trip down to, this is fairly easy relative in terms of straight shot, Atlanta, and we've been to Tampa, but we haven't been to Miami, because we all went to Tampa together some time ago. So we've got about, after we finish this, we'll probably have about half the stadiums in the United States. 2 other obvious trips in the future. One is like a Southwest trip out here, where we'll hit Houston. We've been to Arlington, where we've seen the Rangers play, but we haven't seen the Astros play. It'd be great to go down and see. Oh yeah, because we're going to see the Astros play, and when we see the Astros play in Kaufman, there's a kid from New Britain who's the son of a friend of mine, George Springer, who's like a terrific baseball player. Is going to probably be an all-star eventually. George Springer Jr., great kid, great family, and he's playing for the Houston Astros. We'll of course be rooting for him. He's a real comer, and that's sometime in the future. And we'll get out to college. We'll get out to Denver, and probably down to Arizona on that trip. Kind of a Texas. That's going to be some miles, so we'll probably have to fly out there and then drive. Then, of course, we got a Northwest trip, where we got Seattle. And that's about it up in Seattle. It's kind of by themselves. And I've been to Seattle a couple times. I'm not sure about my boys. I don't think so. And then we've got the San Francisco area. We got San Francisco. We got Oakland. And then we got the Los Angeles area. We got 2 Los Angeles teams, 1 in each league, and San Diego down there. So that's another. That could be one trip Anyway, we still got. Then we'll have to plug in a few that were left out, like Chicago. But we're going to get them all, as long as we live long enough and stay healthy. So it's time to say goodbye. Love doing this. I can't wait to tell you about the trip after we do it. It's going to be a great time. I look forward to it, and I hope that Christopher and Matthew are too.